There, it started. Now we're live. So, Natalie, you have never been on DTNS on a Friday, I guess, huh?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So what Len does is he does a live drawing while we're talking of one of our topics.
Oh, okay.
And then at the end of the show, we talk about it, and then people can go to his store and they can look at it, and if they like it, they get a print.
Neat.
Yeah.
Kind of like Motherboard. Remember Motherboard? My comic that was drawn during our show at...
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was drawn by Mark Brooks, the Marvel artist.
Right.
During our show.
I'm much better than him.
Well, so much.
Just
no
joking.
Disrespect to Mark, but
Do you know who he is? You have a lot of Marvel stuff behind you.
No, I do not. I should not as well first. I'm sure he's much better than I am, though.
I'm sure you are. I'm
Oh,
sure
no.
what,
I'm
he-
sure he's better than me. So.
you know what? He isn't here right now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the big difference.
He doesn't show up on Friday afternoons to do this show.
Well, I don't know if you can see her behind me, but she's on my wall in my... 'cause
Oh, yeah, look
that's
at that.
me as a Marvel comic, you know?
Amazing.
Oh, I
Of
can't
course
see.
I've got to have it. You can't see it? It's right back there.
I see it in the corner.
It's hard to see. Yeah, she's pretty awesome. And she is a caricature of me, or at least what I looked like when I was 30.
At that time. All right, you ready to do this show?
Yeah, I'm going to slam my
we
door
go.
shut.
The Daily Tech News Show is brought to you by people, real people, like me, and a few thousand others. Now, we understand if you're not in a position to join us right now, but maybe, just maybe, you're someone who could, let's say once a quarter, just 4 measly times a year, take a pass on that double-shot, no-whip, caramel, mocha loco whoozy what's-it you buy every day on the way to work, and instead go to bit.ly/helpdtns and pledge that money to support the show. See? Value for value. Coffee for tech news. And here's what you get in return.
This is the Daily Tech News for Friday, September 11th, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt, and joining me today, very happy to have CNBC contributor, writer at NatalieMorris.com, and former co-host of Buzz Out Loud, Natalie Morris. How's it going, Natalie?
It's good. I muted myself on accident. I was going to be loud. I'm great. Yeah, I was so excited that I had to mute myself because I
Yeah,
thought
you didn't want the
hear
screaming.
the excitement coming out of me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So good to have you along. Thank you for being with us. We're going to talk about an interesting topic a little later on, emotions as a service.
Emotions as a service. Okay.
Yeah, EAAS.
In the
Emotions as a-
cloud.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the clouds.
And I'm very curious to know if that means that something can have all my emotions for me, in which case I'm going to be so zen. Be
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. No, I wish that were the case. It's more about telling you how you feel.
Oh, but they still have to stream through my person?
Yeah.
Don't want
yeah,
it.
Yeah. No. Emotion detection.
Don't want that.
Yeah. We'll get to that. Let's start off with some headlines, though. Mac Rumors has word on an interesting new feature found by folks who downloaded the first beta version of iOS 9.1 yesterday. Apple has added a setup process that says it, quote, helps Siri recognize your voice when you say the trigger phrase that makes Siri activate. It's found in General, Siri, Allow, Hey, Siri. Because if I say it, it triggers it. Until you get this set up, apparently. Thanks to TM204 for the post on the subreddit. I guess this could also just be helping it to recognize that a voice is talking to it, too. But one of the problems that people have is they were watching the actual keynote there, or the actual press conference, and Tim Cook, when he would say those words, would set off their phone.
Yeah, it's funny it doesn't have any kind of voice recognition that it knows it's only this person should say, hey Siri. Or maybe, another brilliant idea, you could switch it up so you could decide that you want to call Siri like your bro or something.
Right.
It doesn't have to be Siri.
Yeah,
like,
multiple phrases.
hey bro.
Because Amazon Echo has that. You can have it be called Alexa or Echo, either one. I bet we'll get that down the road someday. But it sounds like this might be a little closer, at least to just recognizing your voice.
I think they probably just don't want people renaming Siri with a name that rhymes with witch.
Bad for branding. Yeah. Mac Rumors gathered some info on Apple's live photos. TechCrunch's Matthew Panzarino reports the system will compress frames around the moment you press the camera button for a file that ends up being about twice the size of a normal photo. And Dan Matt notes that the format is still based on JPEG, so you can share these photos as normal JPEGs. Natalie, I know you're a Harry Potter fan, and everyone is calling this Harry Potter type photos, but I was a little disappointed with the live photo thing.
Why? Disappointed why?
Because when he clicks it, it doesn't just immediately start moving. When he tapped it, it would blur like it was loading, and that kind of ruined the magic for me.
Yeah, and so I watched this TechCrunch video that you sent me about it, and they were saying it's great if you want to sort of take pictures of your kids so that you get the moment before or after where they're being cute, but not the super awkward moment in between that you normally get. And I guess I'm just kind of not clear on how, yeah, I guess a moving photo doesn't have the same like emotional. I don't know. I'd have to start to put this in practice. I'm so unclear about what I do with that,
Yeah, because there's plenty of phones who've done the like adjust thing where like, oh, their eyes were closed and you can back it up a frame or two because the cameras are always capturing. And that's what Apple's taking advantage of here.
Yeah.
Twice the size of the photo, too, every time. I'm going to turn that thing off.
Right. It says you won't get several where, when we first got the burst mode and we got like several photos of the same one, and then that's so hard to go in and clean. It says it'll only be the size of 2, but even that is too much, especially considering most people sort of have those photos that live and die on the phone. They never come back.
If you're selling people a 16-gigabyte phone these days.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
I really wonder what the usage rate is of iCloud in the storage, because I think most people are like, no, I'll do something with it later, and they probably never do.
Yeah.
There's probably a humongous ditch rate and low participation in these cloud services, which there shouldn't be, but it's just so hard to convince people to do it.
Maintenance. Nobody wants to do maintenance.
No, I don't.
CNET reports that eBay is testing a new shipping membership program in Germany called eBay Plus, which will allow German users free express shipping and free 30-day returns from thousands of participating midsize and large retailers. They only have to sell on eBay, of course. Program will cost about €19.90 a year, starting in mid-September. Sellers who participate bear the shipping costs, but they get a 15% discount on their seller fees and highlighted listings. Is eBay trying to compete with Amazon?
It is, yeah, and it's half the price of their Amazon Prime that's over there in Europe. So it's fun.
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to change your frame of mind, though, that you can get stuff like toilet paper on eBay, and I just don't think that way.
I definitely, when I think of eBay as an auction service, which I know it's moved beyond just being an auction service, but I don't want to buy used toilet paper at auction. That's a branding thing that they have to overcome.
Yeah, used is a problem when it comes to that. But I
that's
don't
what I
know,
think of with
books
eBay.
or what else, what are the products? There's got to be a bigger category for this, like probably books, maybe some clothes and shoes. That kind of thing.
Clothing, for sure. Like getting free shipping on clothing. Because, I mean, that's the thing with Amazon is you think, oh, I'm going to buy it there because I'll get it in 2 days for free because I'm an Amazon Prime member.
Right.
So they want to be able to say, hey, buy things on eBay and you'll get it shipped for free too. But I don't know. It's an uphill climb for them. It's a good move.
Sure.
I can't criticize the move, though.
Why not give it a try?
Yeah, we'll see if it succeeds in Germany. Maybe they'll move it elsewhere. Motang submitted this story on our subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com, that Google and Twitter are working on an open source system. It's actually Google working on it, Twitter's partnering, to load article pages faster in mobile apps. The idea is to make the articles pop up instantly when you tap on them. The plan would use cached web pages, though, rather than hosting the content permanently. So it's different than Facebook's instant articles. Recode reports Google says the pages will display the original ads the publisher sold next to the story. So this system isn't hosting the content, it isn't changing the content, it's just making the content load faster, similar to the way those cache pages work in Google search.
But still largely dependent on your data connection, right?
Yeah, it's going to have to load at some point, right? So it is going to be eating up bits. But I think the idea is everybody's trying to make the mobile web experience feel more immediate. And when you click on a link in Twitter or Facebook or search, there is a load time that they want to eliminate. And I think I like this approach better than Facebook. Do you?
Oh, yeah, I do. But it's the same question that I had about 3D Touch, is that it's going to bring this to you faster, but it's still only as fast as the phone and the connection can do it. Mm-hmm. It's just the operating system is not going to get in the way. And so I think it's just sort of like one less step in programming. Right.
And I think because it leaves more of the content in the control of the publishers will be willing to cooperate with this more. Rather, in Facebook's deal, the publisher has to work with Facebook on it. So there's less of a deal-making aspect of it. And it's open source, so anybody can do it. Maybe this will actually spread and become more widely used. Aractor and R. Patney both submitted articles about Microsoft downloading Windows 10 to PCs, even if the user has not requested the upgrade. Folks who have automatic updates on may have received Microsoft Update KB3035583, which puts an almost 6 gigabyte file called setup.exe in a folder called string Windows BT. There's a tilde in there, too. Microsoft told the Inquirer, quote, "We help upgradable devices get ready for Windows 10 by downloading the files they'll need if they decide to upgrade." That's the end of the quote. They don't add that they do it whether you want to upgrade ever or not. If you want to get rid of the folder, you have to uninstall the Microsoft Update, then delete the folder. If you just delete the folder, the Microsoft Update will keep restoring it. AddictiveTips.com has a good set of instructions on that. But pushy, don't you think?
Yeah, there's got to be something in their terms of service that lets them just do this.
Yeah.
They know they can.
Yeah,
it just
it's part of the
seems
update
like a
thing.
move from the Microsoft of yore. It's surprising to me.
Yeah, it's a little bit old-fashioned Microsoft of we know what's best for you versus the newer, kinder Satya Nadella Microsoft that they have tried to project lately. Don't be pushing 6 gigabytes of file on me when you have a perfectly good system for requesting the Windows 10 update. I get it if you download these files ahead of time when I've said, yeah, I would like to get this upgrade eventually.
Right.
Totally fine. But if I've never said that, don't just push it on me.
Yeah.
Taking up hard drive space.
Exactly right. Bloatware.
Back in August, a photo of all the master keys for TSA locks in the U.S., those are the locks you're allowed to use when you travel on airplanes, made the rounds after being published by the Washington Post. Now, despite the Post deleting that picture, it's the internet, so the pictures are still around, and some security enthusiasts have converted them into 3D printable CAD files freely available on GitHub. And Gadget Report's Unix geek Bernard Bolduc has successfully printed out a key with PLA plastic and unlocked his TSA lock with it. Natalie, this is a physical world demonstration of the idea that if you make a back door, eventually someone will get access to that back door that you don't want to.
Yeah, and this story confused me so much when I was reading it. I was like, what? I thought it was something to do with encryption. I couldn't get my head around that it was a real world thing because I'm studying your show and I'm like, oh, this is like to open a grandmother's suitcase and steal her bloomers, right?
Yeah. Do you use those locks when you travel on your suitcase?
No.
Yeah. They're useless. I always assumed that anyone...
in there somewhere, but I don't know. No.
I assume that people could always break into them, and now it's even easier. So the translation of this, and I think why so many tech blogs are picking this up, is if you make backdoor keys available for whole disk encryption, you're going to have a similar thing happen eventually.
Yeah, you can make any... I mean, it's just a recipe then.
Yeah.
So...
Recode reports Etsy is partnering with delivery startup Postmates for same-day and next-day delivery. Etsy ASAP is what they'll call it. It'll launch this autumn in Manhattan and parts of Brooklyn and Queens. Sellers choose if and what products to offer the option on, and then they control when they're available to hand off the deliveries. Buyers have to pay an extra $20 for the option. Mm-hmm. So if you really want that macrame fast, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, you know what people use Etsy for? I use it all the time for my kids' birthday parties. And I'm like, oh, I'd like to do this little craft where they, pull the fishies out. I want the fishies to say their name and the date. And, you can get really crazy. So this goes hand in hand with the way Pinterest makes you feel insane. And I can see I would probably spend an extra $20 if like a crazy craft that I did not need came into my head.
Well, yeah, and you totally convinced me. Like, you're doing a birthday party and you have 20 place settings and you suddenly realize you need small rabbits and somebody's got 20 small rabbits on Etsy.
That they can customize to say, like, the theme of the,
If you can get that same day, that's worth $20 for sure.
Oh, it's something that, later on I'll look at my budget and be like, there's no way I should have paid $40 for that. But in the moment, I can certainly convince myself that I do. Because, we go crazy for things like that. The crafty stuff, once you go down the rabbit hole of that Pinterest, Etsy
Speaking
stuff.
Of rabbits, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
You're through the looking glass. Necessary is not even a relevant word.
Wired magazine reports that 5 years ago, researchers at the University of California at San Diego and the University of Washington found a vulnerability on a GM vehicle. but chose not to publicly name the make and model of the vehicle, rather shared the exploit code directly with GM. It took GM 5 years to fully protect its vehicle from the hacking technique, which used OnStar's computer to manipulate the braking system of the 2009 Chevy Impala. The researchers said they believe GM took so long because of an industry-wide lack of security preparedness when it comes to internet-connected cars.
Fishy.
Well, it's an example of how cars need to catch up in the security game.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's another example of recently, Black Hat this summer, we saw a lot of vulnerabilities that were made public and they got fixed faster. You always get things fixed a little faster if you put some public pressure on the maker. If you let them know, hey, this is going to go public at this time. But these researchers say we don't think that would have worked. We think they just weren't prepared to fix these sorts of things, and that's why it took them so long.
Yeah, but
That's
this,
frightening.
choosing not to publicly name. Oh, that's just in the release.
Yeah.
It wasn't at the time. Okay, I misread it then. Okay.
Wednesday, the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority and the Internet Engineering Task Force officially designated .onion as a special use domain for websites hosted on the Tor network. This means the domain can only be used on Tor, and .onion admins can now obtain security certificates easily. And if you think, well, this is for bad guys on the dark web, that certainly exists, but don't forget there's things like a Facebook site on .onion that exists for people who live in countries where Facebook is blocked but want to use it to communicate. There's other positive reasons like that out there.
Yeah, but it does seem kind of prohibitive to get on it. So you have to legitimately have a need for it.
Yeah, it takes some work to get on it, and basically what this does is they can now make their sites more secure because they can be issued SSL certificates, and nobody can go and register .onion now in some other way officially, and then you'd have confusion because there's this dark network .onion and an official .onion. Now they're both one and the same, so that's kind of the biggest fallout from this, I think. Mm-hmm. And that is a look at the headlines. All right, so here's this article from Fortune. Barb Darrow, a great reporter, has an article on emotional recognition. She mentions two startups, one called Affectiva and one called Emotiont, who are doing emotional recognition. So it's not facial recognition. In fact, Affectiva says we couldn't tell you who someone is based on our database, but we can tell you what emotion they're experiencing. They have a repository of more than 2.7 million faces from 75 countries. They can distinguish between a smile and a smirk. They can measure engagement, whether the person is actually paying attention. And it's being used in advertising. So focus groups of volunteers, for instance, will turn on their web cameras and their reactions will be measured and assessed. The AFDEX project from Affectiva they describe as emotion as a service. So in other words, you can send your video to be processed and they'll send you back the data points about it. So there's a big data aspect of it as well, telling you like, oh, the person paid attention this much, they felt these emotions at this time. There's also an SDK for Apple, Android, and Windows to add it to your apps. And that's something that right now they're not charging for. So you can have emotion detection happening on the device itself. It doesn't use their cloud service for that. It just happens in the app. So they say, well, this could be good for game makers, maybe. Have the game react to what emotions you're feeling. And Natali, they standardized the model for 7 emotions: anger, sadness, disgust, joy, surprise, fear, and contempt. And they can tell 15 different facial expressions.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can think of a million different ways to use this, but I also kind of feel scared about the implications that maybe an advertiser could involuntarily take this information and say, oh, this makes them feel this or that. I feel like my emotions belong to me. What I click and what I decide to see, that I'm okay with. You know, you give me a banner ad, maybe it's relevant, maybe it's not. I click it, you've measured me in some form or fashion. But like my emotional response, I feel like kind of private about it.
Well, like with all kinds of ad measuring, there's the opt-in versus opt-out situation. But there is something a little bit extra creepy, even if you're opting in, saying, okay, I'll let you look at me. I tried this. I went to, I think it was on Affectiva's website, where they, it might have been on Emotiont's, though. I wish I could remember now, where you can try it out. Oh, no, it was Emotiont.com, EMOTIENT. You can try it out. You can say, all right, you can access my camera, watch me while I watch this ad, and then give me back an evaluation of how I felt while I was watching the ad. And even though I was opting in, I'm saying, okay, I'm going to let you access my camera. It was creepier than just saying, oh, I'm going to opt into you putting a cookie, or I'm going to opt into you, tracking my usage on the browser.
Right.
You know they're watching. You know you're being watched. And I think that what you're pointing at is the idea that you could opt into this and then forget suddenly means that now your honest emotions are being tracked along with your web behavior. And that's a lot of data to be entrusting to people.
And were you able to have a legitimate response to things knowing you were being watched, or is it like a Talladega Nights, like, what do I do with my hand?
I was listed as 97% engaged while watching an ad for Doritos, I think.
Because you were hungry?
I had neutral. I had neutral emotion until the very end when it listed a little bit of contempt.
You really don't like Doritos then?
It was the ad where the guy is like trying to keep his airline seat from people, so he's blowing his nose and reading about bowel movements. And then he sees an attractive lady, and so he pulls out the Doritos bag, and that's when the contempt on my face showed itself. Which I mean, it was kind of cool that I'm like, yeah, it's actually how I felt. Like you totally nailed it.
Right. Okay. I don't know. Could you use it as therapy, where you just like cry into your camera and then send it to a therapist?
Little AI.
And then the software pops
therapy.
up and it's like, you have post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some positive uses to this. You're absolutely right. Like having people understand their emotions. I can think of post-traumatic stress, uses where people may not be, getting 100% in touch with how they're feeling. None of that was described in any of this stuff.
Point that you make is that like we largely live in a society that has a very hard time understanding our own emotions, but yet there's software that really wants to get into this. And I think better that I don't know, it's not an either or, right? Like this software wants to understand us. We are primates. There are pretty clear things we do with our face that correspond with very specific emotions. So it's doable and it's fine. But I think better that we understand ourselves first, better than the marketers.
Yeah, I agree. I think the idea of robots being able to use this to better get along with humans and understand what their emotions are, I think that's really intriguing. It started making me think of Data's emotion chip from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Like, it's fascinating that they can do this well at emotion detection. It does seem like they do pretty well. On the other hand, when they're saying, oh, well, we don't track facial recognition, you have to trust people that they're not doing that. There is one of the implementations of this is a Hershey promotion with Wild Blue Tech and Effectiva, where they put a vending machine that will give you a Hershey's Kiss for free if you smile at it. So if it tells you're smiling, gives you the free candy. But they say, well, we don't store the faces in there, but we do work with a separate company that can do facial recognition to make sure that people don't get multiple pieces of candy per day.
I got an idea. How about you use this for your password? It's a different type of bioauthentication where it's like, remember the Contra code was up, up, down, down, left, right. So you'd be
Konami
happy, sad, angry, pissed off. And then that's how you get into your computer.
That's interesting. Like, I wonder if you could combine. It goes back to what we were talking about with Siri. If you can train Siri to have its own voice to know when you're saying it versus someone else saying it, can you train this to recognize your particular emotion
in a certain order as a password? I mean, that's unhackable. Come on.
It could be. Well, nothing's unhackable, obviously, but that's pretty high up there, right?
Yeah.
I
got all the good ideas.
Anyway, this is interesting stuff. So go check this out at fortune.com if you're interested in it. I think the technology is impressive, but as we were talking about, it's always in the implementation and what it's used for. And I would like it to be used for not just advertising and focus groups. I guess it's better. I guess we get better ads, something though.
But of course, it starts with advertising, where the money is, right?
Yeah. Our pick of the day comes from Mike, who sent in a pick for the application Thessa. That's Thessa. Mike says it adds a notification center widget that lets you control your Nest thermostat without unlocking your phone or opening the Nest app. It gives you simple controls, allowing you to raise and lower the temperature, along with some other useful tidbits. Mike says, I've been using it since it came out and have not had too many issues since the recent updates. And if you look, it gets 3 stars on the iTunes App Store, but a lot of people are saying updates have fixed some of their issues with it. So it's only for OS 10 and iOS, but you might want to check it out. deviate.nl/THESSA. Mike seems to like it. I might give it a shot, actually. Do you have a Nest thermostat, Natali?
I do, and my husband and I fight over it constantly, especially when we get in bed, and I'm like, it's too cold, the air's blowing on us, and he's like, it's just right. So I pretend that I'm doing something else on my phone when I'm actually, and I always get busted. No, he changes the password, and then that actually, we got in a really big fight about it. It's like, you don't love me, you don't care if I'm cold.
Over the thermostat.
No, it's a serious issue because it makes me feel like his bodily comfort is more important than mine. It really makes, I know I'm laughing about it, but I'm like, it makes me feel like you don't care. And so he's like, no, but you know, everyone else in the house is sweating and you're freezing. And so, yeah, I would love this where I could covertly change it, but then it, you know, because otherwise I lie. I'm like, oh, my sister texted me. Boop, 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 boop.
Mm-hmm.
So I just need a different way to be more covert.
Well, if you try this, for ill or for good, let us know what you think, folks. Send your picks to feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com, and you can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. Got some emails here. Scott in London doesn't think the UK is as lacking in TV apps as Ewan did on yesterday's show. He mentions TV Player for live broadcast, for instance. But Scott says, quote, what we are lacking is the cord-cutting drive that exists in America. Pay TV and cable TV in particular has never been anywhere near as prevalent as it is in the U.S., so the apps are nice-to-haves, not ways to free yourself from Comcast. He says, I don't think Virgin Media inflames the passions the way that Comcast appears to in the United States. You guys still have cable, Natali?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And it's, I don't know if it's just kind of all around American to hate your cable provider.
Yeah, keep it, but hate it. Yeah, and apparently in the UK, not as many people do that. So that's an interesting perspective. From another party sort of familiar with the matter, in less sexy than musky SpaceX space news, this person wrote in that Aerojet is buying ULA, the United Launch Alliance, and says it's kind of a big deal as it means that their AR-1 rocket could move up to the prime replacement launch vehicle, pushing out the current Jeff Bezos incumbent Blue Origin. So big news in the private rocket space. And I just think it's crazy that we have competing rocket companies acquiring each other and battling to become the incumbent launcher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I remember having this discussion on Buzz Out Loud way back in the day that just NASA was no longer the leader in, you know, space aeronautics. And it's just so crazy because in our childhood, they were.
They're becoming like the FAA, right?
Yeah.
They're becoming the people who guide things, and they're doing more than the FAA. They're still obviously building a lot of rockets and asteroid exploration and Martian exploration. But yeah, they are sort of the ringleader for these sorts of private enterprises. It's fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Finally, Rapid thinks Apple will still have a hard time selling iPads in the enterprise, despite the large size of the iPad Pro, the keyboard, and the help they're getting from companies like Cisco and IBM. Rapid says, what's been holding back iPad sales in big companies isn't the size, the stylus, the keyboard, it's iTunes. Apple requires an iTunes account for every device and does not allow multiple accounts on a single device. This has a couple of major issues for big corporations. I can sit down on any computer in our corporate domain, log on with my Active Directory credentials, and instantly access all of my resources, services, and applications. In a manufacturing environment, it isn't uncommon to have dozens of people sharing the same computer. Until Apple decouples apps and access from iTunes and supports multiple accounts per device, it won't make any more headway into corporate IT than it has up until now. That's a really good point, especially the multiple accounts thing. If you
it
have
seems
a big,
so obvious. I don't know why I've never thought of it. It's just so brilliantly simple.
If you want to use a big iPad Pro on a factory floor, a construction site, or something like that, you're going to want to pass it around. It's in certain situations. And right now, it's kind of a kludge. I was looking around at the different solutions. There are plenty of ways that people are dealing with this if they want to use iPads, but it's not elegant.
You would think Apple would come up with something like that.
Yeah,
To have different user profiles and
I know that's why they're partnering.
Now.
Yeah. People have been wanting multiple account login on iOS for a long time. So I don't know. I think that's one of the reasons they brought in companies like IBM to kind of help smooth those implementations. For people, it's a testament to Apple, I guess, that people want to implement that anyway.
Yeah. Do you know if there's any kind of solution for an Android tablet for this?
Yeah, you can do multiple logins on Android tablets.
Which ones? All of them?
Yeah, you just log in. You can have a different Google account, or you can do apps on the domain. I'm not sure exactly if you can do your own in-house, but I assume if you do apps on the domain, obviously you can. But I don't know about non-apps on the domain. It's a kludge.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Rapid Eye, for that, and thank you, Natalie Morris. This was great. Somebody in chat called it a mini BOL.
It was.
Let folks know where they can find more Natalie. Obviously, nataliemorris.com. She's contributing on CNBC. Anything else coming up?
No, I've been doing a lot more writing over on my own site, nataliemorris.com, and I'm doing, still tech stuff, but also I've become kind of an autodidact when it comes to personal finance. I am self-taught, but I'm sort of starting to write about what I've learned because I love home finance, and I sort of dubbed myself the chief home officer, which is a project that it's just like a fun way for me to learn to brand myself, because you and I know it was easy when we were at CNET to let the network brand our show and be in charge of our brands and stuff, and then when you really take the bull by the horns and say I'm gonna be in charge of this myself and build something that's my own, it's terrifying, but I'm making myself do it because it's a personal passion and because why not? So if you're interested in personal finance, please join me over at nataliemorris.com. And I still do the tech stuff too. So that's fun.
You're always good with a spreadsheet too.
I love me some spreadsheets. I need a jingle. If I had a podcast, I'd have someone do a little spreadsheet time jingle.
Yeah, you should, if you get to that point, definitely.
I might. I'm thinking about it. We'll see.
Check it out, Natalie Morris.
I feel like I would need you guys along. You do it so well on your own, but how am I going to do that by myself?
Yeah, well, you get guests. You get amazing guests.
Yeah, or a puppet.
Or a puppet, sure. Why not? Puppet finance. I think you might be onto something, especially if you put it on YouTube, too.
Yeah.
NatalieMorris.com, folks. Follow her on Twitter at Natalie Morris as well. Thanks to all of our bosses, all the patrons who make the show happen. We could not do it without you. Don't forget that we have a survey out there asking for people's feedback, dailytechnewsshow.com/survey. But if you want to support the show in a big way, you can get in our quarterly analyst call. We just had one where we were brainstorming about the show with people at dailytechnewsshow.com/support. That'll give you a link to the Patreon, to the store, and to the PayPal address and all of that stuff. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. Listen to the show live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern at player.alphageekradio.com and visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. Back on Monday with Kevin Purdy from Wirecutter and Veronica Belmont. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
And I'm going to try something different, and I forgot to warn Len. We're going to talk about the drawing now, after the show.
Oh.
Len Peralta. I screwed up. That's all. Len Peralta, what have you been drawing?
Well, I told you about this earlier, that I didn't know if this was going to work or not. But I hadn't drawn you into the drawings, Tom, for a while, so I did a bunch of drawings of you. This is the 7 models of emotions, and let me. So there's anger, there's sadness, there's disgust.
We're not seeing them.
Wow. Here we go. That's why. You know why? Is because I thought that you had forgotten me, so I didn't do it.
I'm sorry, Len.
Okay, so here we go. Let's try this.
I love it.
So here are the 7 models of emotion, right? So I hadn't drawn you into these in a while, Tom, so here we go. There's anger. Wait a second. There's anger. There's sadness. A little sad, Tom. There's disgust. There's joy. Surprise, which is interesting, is very similar to joy.
Yeah.
But a little bit more. Fear. That's the one I always draw you at. And contempt.
It's Donald Trump.
It's good.
So
That's a good Trump.
China.
I like it.
China.
That's awesome, Len.
Do you have like total embarrassment?
Oh, no.
It's just a blackout screen.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah. These are amazing. The 7 models of emotion. Well, these are the ones that you pulled these like right out of their technology too.
That is
so
correct.
It's perfect.
These are the 7, and it
Yeah.
just happened to be Contempt was. I think Contempt is an interesting one for sure.
Yeah. It was funny that was the only emotion registered when I watched that Doritos ad. too.
You must have been making a Trump face.
Well, these are fantastic, folks. LenPeraltaStore.com. If you haven't been watching the video, go look at this. It's weird to see my face, but they're good. They're really good, especially the Trump.
We'll see if it works. It was very one of those things that I didn't know if it was going to work or not. It was a very esoteric type of story, but try my best.
Yeah, no, these are great. Well done.
You guys, I gotta jump off. Thank you so much for having
yeah.
me on.
Thank you, Natalie.
Always good to see your e-face. Nice to meet you, Len.
Nice to meet you as well, Natalie.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Take care.
And that's the end of the audio episode. I'm sorry, Len.
That's all right. No, usually when we have someone who is not usually here, you forget about that. So.
But I never entirely forget.
That was weird because because I was following along like, oh, he's gonna come back here, and then you went straight to the patrons thing, but and then I'm like, oh, I guess he forgot, and then I thought, well, maybe he'll do it, he'll come back, and then you didn't come back.
Well, I got into the email addresses when I realized what I'd done, and I'm like, oh well, I'll just carry it on through, and then we'll put it in as an after.
That's what I figured. I figured. I'm easy to forget because I don't talk.
Well, that's part of. I mean, it's all on me though. It's not. There's no other excuse.
Yeah, but we haven't done it in a couple weeks, so.
It's good stuff though. It's just weird seeing my face.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
I mean, only weird for me. It's not weird for anybody else.
Let's do this then.
It's probably weird for Donald Trump too.
It is. There's my Trump.
Oh no, Donald Trump loves his
Seeing
own
his
face.
Probably.
Let's not get that wrong. Even right there in bold, Tom, show Len art.
I just bolded it actually for myself.
Oh. I'll put it in like blinky blinky highlight next time.
Maybe you're sicker than you think, Tom.
Well,
you just
maybe.
need more sleep.
You did a good job getting through this week feeling not well, so
Yes.
now you can relax.
No excuses.
We'll just boo you. Boo!
Boo!
I deserve
We're gonna
it.
pretend that we feel as bad about this as you do.
Right.
Would you like a title?
Yes, let's have some titles.
Okay. We've got one more ad, comma, with feeling. Contempt for Doritos, which I love. 7 Deadly Emotions. Real World Backdoors. It looks like you're crying. Would you like help? 97% engaged. Emotified, which I like.
I liked Onion added a layer. I thought that was fun.
Yeah. Onion has many OSI layers.
Yeah, onion adds a layer is good.
Happy, sad, pissed off, greater than, unlock.
One more ad feeling.
Advertisers wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I was like, oh, look at the deep cuts here. Use anger to change the temperature.
I like one more ad with feeling. What do you guys like the best?
I think I like that.
Yeah? I
Yarp.
don't want to diss Doritos in the headline.
Yeah. Yarp. Narp.
Narp. All right. One more ad with feeling. It's exporting now.
Right on.
How's the Patreon going, Len?
Mine, it's kind of stalled out.
The Len Peralta one?
Well, both have kind of stalled out. Like
Yeah.
the Len Peralta one definitely stalled out. Which we forgot to talk about at DragonCon. We forgot to talk about that. But, 10 State, and then the Len one. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. It still happens. There's content every week, but I don't know if it's compelling enough. So
you're cruising, but you're not gaining, is what you're.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a little bit of a summer effect on Patreons. There's always been a podcast summer effect. I'm sure you know, where like you have a little dip in subscribers or dip in traffic.
Yeah.
During the summer, I think it's just because people are moving around. So I wonder if that.
I don't know. The people that support me are supporting me, but it's really hard to gain new supporters. You know.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know. It's a conundrum, but I'm happy with what I have right now. I mean, there's content there every week, and it forces me to do a little speed drawing video. So
Yeah, I see you doing the videos all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
patreon.com/Len. That's where people should go. Go back them right now. Just give them $1. The hell?
$1. I'd be happy. Be happy with $1.
Gord McLeod says the summer effect is on Twitch too. So that could be part of it. Maybe you'll pick up now with kids coming back to school.
We'll see. I hope I do. Yeah, it's one of those things
Which
where
emotion are you feeling right now, Len?
I am feeling sadness.
Yeah. Can you show sadness then?
Yeah, I will show sadness. I'm feeling like this.
Yeah. Sad
That's how
Tom
I
is
feel.
sad.
I'm feeling that way.
Um,
And then I feel like this. But mostly like this.
don't be sad.
Sad Tom is sad.
Where is the emotion for sleepy?
Oh.
Because that's what I have right now. Hi, sleepy.
Right there. That's a nightmare. He's having a nightmare. Okay. I'm gonna figure out dinner.
Dinner.
Oh, and
the
Jenny,
biggest.
I didn't get to tell you. I saw the you hung up a bunch of stuff this weekend. Which
I
was
did.
very
Oh my
cool.
gosh, we didn't even talk about it. Look, it's right behind me. You can't see this bad lighting, but look, there it is.
Yeah, I saw it. It's really cool.
That's the All in This Together poster, and then right next to it I framed my favorite ones, which is Dr. Zuck Hatton and Molly, Justin, the DTNS All-Stars with Tom. And let's see, what's the one in the middle? Oh, one of my true favorites is Stop Hacking Us.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then I even have a sneaky one. Can you see it down here, which is my favorite,
Oh,
the
yeah,
Amazon.
That's the Amazon
Right?
one, right?
Because I have like weirdly limited
It's like,
wall space.
Where's Waldo?
Yeah. So I hung all the things this week. It was so much fun.
It's pretty cool.
And it only took me a year.
That's all right. I have so much art here that I need to put up. So I have so much stuff.
I have a big thing, like I have a Canadian postal box. I don't know why I have a Canadian postal box, but like a bin full of art. It's
I'll
like
be right with you.
art from Geek a Week. It's stuff from Scott. Like I just need to put it up.
Framing stuff is more expensive and
Yes.
more time consuming and a weird like hole in my comfort zone of like banging because
I've
I'm
got
such
all
a
the-
renter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
It's hard to bang holes in walls.
I have all the Jawbone Radio stuff from back in the Patreon
Oh,
for
jeez.
that. Kickstarter for that. I mean,
Yeah, I've got a ton of art. Like I got some Ape Lad stuff. I have a ton of stuff.
it's good stuff too.
What was I gonna say? I forget, but it was.
Yeah,
related
I'll be right
to
down,
art.
honey.
We should let Len go. Len, go do dinner.
Len, just please know when I forget, it's only because I'm an idiot. It is not because I in any way think less of you or don't enjoy having you do these. I absolutely adore that you do this. I think it's fantastic.
You've got a lot going on, and I figured it was just one of those things where it was. Yeah, don't worry about it, Tom. Not a big deal.
I'm sorry.
Look, it's a Persmalta.
Oh yeah, there he is. Say hi, Julian.
Hi, Persmalta.
Wave.
Hey, Julian.
Hi.
They're saying hi. Here, I'll let you hear.
Hi.
Hi, Julian. How are you?
Good.
Oh.
Oh, good. Good to
Are
hear.
you hungry for dinner?
Mhm.
All right.
What do you want to eat?
Yeah.
Yeah? What
Me too.
would you like to eat?
Sweet sour chicken.
Okay.
Sour chicken.
There you go. Sweet and sour
I
chicken
like
it
that
is.
too. That's one of my favorites.
Sounds delicious.
That's funny.
All right,
Yeah.
you're making sweet and sour chicken now.
I guess either me or my daughter. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
All
we'll
right.
see you next week then.
Yeah. See you next week.
Right
Bye,
on.
Len.
We'll see you. Feel better.
Bye. Thanks. You too, Mr. Snot. And goodbye, everyone on the internet. We'll see you Monday.